Hi there. I just want to talk to you today about conscious parenting and some of the practical type strategies that parents are aiming to learn when they're doing their best to learn conscious parenting and they're maybe struggling a little bit. So, lots of the conscious parenting literature out there, it teaches us that our children are here to help us learn in a transformative way, that it's going to help us to transform our own lives. It emphasizes connecting with your kids and listening deeply with empathy, and also to doing your own healing work on your personal journey. And I love all of that. And also, when I was seeking practical strategies myself for how to do that as I raised my son, I came up against this situation where I found that there was very little that could tell parents exactly how to help your kids and you do better when you were frustrated or losing control, right? Or when you're completely at the end of your rope because your kid's behavior is out of control and you don't know how to deal with it. I'm talking about that sort of real practical stuff on the ground, things that come up in everyday life, the challenges of raising a sensitive, spirited child. And I think that this is true for all kids, but it's especially true when you're dealing with intergenerational family patterns such as anxiety, perfectionism, having been raised with punishments, anger patterns, maybe in the family you grew up in, emotional disconnection, substance use. Those are just naming a few. But I've since discovered that when this type of thing is happening, it's nervous system regulation that's often the missing link, and it's an essential key to changing those patterns. So that's because those intergenerational patterns that I was talking about, they typically involve nervous system regulation or dysregulation or being disconnected from emotions. And so healing those patterns requires attending to those. So some of the things that learning about nervous system regulation can help with are really helping you understand what's going on in the nervous system. And that's important because as much as we often believe that we have complete control over our bodies and it's just a matter of, mind over matter or making a decision about what we're going to do, certainly that helps. But when the nervous system is activated either in your body or in your child's body, meaning that there's a fight flight response that's been activated or a freeze response, our physical bodies are designed to give priority to that activation over anything else. And that's because it's a survival mechanism that's built in to help us survive, and it's subconscious. So it happens without you being consciously aware of it or making a conscious decision about doing something or not doing something. And that's why when you're triggered, it happens automatically, right? And you may find that you've reacted without having had a chance to make a conscious decision or being able to think rationally about it because it just happened too quickly, right? The impulse is there and you act before you've even thought. Is typically what happens. So learning about nervous system regulation can also help with practical strategies. And that's because once you know what's going on in the nervous system, it's like a map. You have a much better idea of how you can take steps to calm the nervous system. So learning how to regulate your nervous system needs to happen before you'll be able to change your parenting behavior and strategies. And it needs to happen before your kids will be able to make any changes in their behavior and before the two of you can create new patterns and have more harmony within your family. And again, that's because of the way the human body works biologically. And this is true for all mammals, actually, because the physical body will always do what the nervous system requires it to do in order to feel safe before it can do anything else. It's a biological imperative, and it doesn't mean logically safe. It means in terms of like thinking in your head, gee, there's no bears in the room here. What it means is emotional safety as well. And it's a perception of the nervous system, and we call that neuroception. So the ways that you can do some healing around this are multiple. It's always important to work with a practitioner that's trauma informed, and trauma trained practitioners who do body work or who do somatic work are often most effective, in my experience. But to just sum up here, that is a big missing link between the vision you have if you're aiming to be a conscious parent and to learn conscious parenting, and how you want to parent your child consciously, that vision that you have, and the limits, on the other hand, that you come up against when you get into a situation where your old pattern is showing up and you can't seem to get past that repeating pattern. When that's going on, you've got the vision, but you're over here repeating this pattern. Typically, there's some nervous system regulation and some old trigger that's happening that you need to do healing work around. And nervous system regulation is a huge key to how to address that and find your way through, to be the parent that you really want to be for your child. So thanks for listening. If you have questions, just pop them in below, and I'll also link a couple of related videos below in case you're interested in hearing more about the topic. Thanks for listening.